E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live. Also on Amazon Fire TV and to Twitch. Also Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna, producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. We are in day 2, Jim.
Yes, ma'am.
Plan now for the holidays.
Oh, yeah. We're in day 2 of planning for the holidays. And you know what, Donna? I hadn't started planning yet. So I better go back to, day 1, yesterday on Monday, and take a remedial course.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'm slow in between the ears and slow in between the getting into action when it comes to getting gifts,
Your get up and gone got up and went.
Oh, yeah. And, today we're going to be talking about, about giving and sharing. And that is so important on all fronts.
It is.
And Donna and I, we put our, I don't want to say put your money where your mouth is, but we demonstrate that in our everyday life. For example, we've got some good friends up in Canada, and they got some real good coffee. And the reason we're going to share this with you is twofold. Number one, because we bless them, we're going to be blessed. And we're going to be talking about that in a little bit more today.
Right.
But I just want to put up their website there. And let's see here. I'll let Donna find the website there. We got them all on these little ticker tapes. Well, I do a little bragging on them. We had them on the radio show, and great rapport with these folks up there at Mocha Bun. And they sent us this packet here. This is about all used up Mocha AA plus, and it comes in a little sealable bag. You can see the seal up there at the top. This is one of those press, and it's really neat. It keeps it, air fresh and all that. And then this morning, I'm still, I use their coffee from time to time to okay, let's see how it tastes,
Right.
with my regular coffee in between. But this one right here, I've said it before.
Takes the cake.
Yep, this is my favorite. It's something I call Peabody or whatever. Let me move right in front of the camera. And that is it right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. And looking there in the camera, I thought I had dirty fingernails, but I don't. It just came up that way with the camera when I had it like this, I don't know what's happening there. Anyway, that's above my pay grade. But ladies and gentlemen, their coffee is sun-dried, and they don't use any type of preservatives or anything like that. It's processed naturally. It is a gourmet coffee. So if you got a coffee lover out there and you're wondering what can we get this person? I highly recommend to go to Mocha Bun, and they're on the marquee of the ticker tape. That's the website there, mokhabunn.ca. CA stands for Canada. That's where they're at. And if you mention that, you saw it here on the show, Jim 30 or whatever it is, they will give you a discount, and, they'll drop ship for you and that sort of thing. And, they're very personable people, very nice people. And they'll even, if you send them a little note or something to put in there, Merry Christmas or, Happy Thanksgiving or,
Right.
glad on your birthday, glad the assassins hadn't caught up to you yet or something like that. If you got, guy friends, yeah, that's a guy joke, but, maybe I shouldn't say that. Hope the assassins had. Oh my goodness.
Okay,
You know.
he has not had enough coffee or he's had too much, folks. It's real simple. It's going to be one of the two.
Yeah. You see now what poor Donna's got to put up with.
Y'all
It's
have
a
no idea. You just don't.
and I think that's one of the things that makes our show unique because people see that we're just down to earth, everyday people. We make people laugh, and at least we laugh at ourselves. That's the main thing.
Right?
And sometimes Donna, she'll get in one of her knee slapping, snorting moods, and we might as well go to commercial because she's not coming up. When she does come up for air, she's going to need oxygen.
Right? And that or it's going to be another snort.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah, she's an
goodness.
old snorter from way back.
Thanks, Jim. Telling tales out of school, buddy.
I know it. But payback's going to be, on me is going to be big time.
Yes, it's a dish served nice and cold.
Mm-hmm. And just like we blessed Mocha Bun Coffee because they're great friends of ours and one of our marketing partnerships. And that's what you need to develop in your life. And to be able to establish that, you've got to have a giving heart on all fronts. Because to many people, if they give something, they're expecting something in return.
Right.
They may not say it, but in the back of their mind, if I get you a gift, you better get me one.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that their world turns like that. And I feel sorry for people like that, Donna. How about you?
I do too. It's simply about giving from the heart. Honestly, it's not about the reciprocation, at least for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I know it's not for you either, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly about thinking of that person and finding something that just strikes that chord in them, right? That lights up their eyes. That it's like, oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love to be able to do that for people.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And when you give something anonymously, oh goodness gracious, and you're the only one that knows about it,
right?
That'll make the canary inside your soul sing so beautiful, and you will love it because it's got one of the sweetest taste to it.
Absolutely.
In your mind, your body, your heart, and your soul, in you, your everything.
Yep.
That's something that money can't buy.
Absolutely.
No way.
Absolutely. I've got Christmas coming up, this week with my children and their birthdays. And I'm so excited to be able to give them their gifts because they have no idea what it is. None. And I can't say it on air because in case one of them's watching it,
Oh yeah.
I don't want to give away
That's
the
right.
surprise.
That's right. I don't blame you, because I'll guarantee if your kids are curious about what they're going to get for Christmas, they're looking for any clue, any hint, anywhere. That's the way kids are.
Right.
And you don't by chance have a gift on your list for a long lost cousin, do you?
I might. It just depends on how many more tales out of school you tell.
Yeah, because the first time I'd met Donna once before, and a first time we met at an event, and then I was invited over. It was I think it was the next day I was invited over, or the following day, one of the two.
Right.
And I spoke at her event that she had in Scottsdale, Arizona, and that's where I kind of got to know her. And then I was going back to Phoenix, 2 or 3 months later, something like that. I forget how long it was. And I needed to call her. I don't remember why I needed to call.
I don't remember what it was for either.
But it had to be something, important, I hope. But anyway, I called her, and I'm riding down the road. Of course, I got my mouthpiece and the earphones and all that junk in. And she sees this 979 number, and she goes like, "I wonder who this is." She answers the phone very hesitantly. Hello? Hey, Donna, how you doing? Fine. Who's this? This your long lost cousin. And she knew right then and there I was lying right out of the gate.
Gigs up. I've got
Yep.
3 first cousins, and one of them is long since gone. And I'm like, Okay, all my second and third cousins are a dang sight older than I am, so
Yeah.
I kind of don't think so.
Yeah. But you kind of recognize the voice a little bit, I think, or whatever. And then we started talking, and that's how we initially met. And,
Mhm.
that's where our friendship started. And it just grew from there. And the thing that really brought Donna and I together was giving.
Mhm.
It really was. And no money exchanged hands here now.
No.
There's a lot of different ways you can give because I called her up and I told her about, I had Marty Haggard on my show, and she says, oh, she's a big fan of Merle Haggard. So I gave her the opportunity to co host on my radio show when we had him on there. And then we had a great show, Donna, and we went off the air about 35 seconds later, maybe 36 seconds, I'm not sure, but it was. But what did Miss Donna say to Marty Haggard?
Well, I am shy, Jim.
Oh, I know. Terribly shy. I mean, we have to get a pitchfork and poke her here and get her out in front of the camera all the time we go live.
Yeah, I just said, "Hey, Marty, would you be on my show?" And he said, "Why, sure, Donna." And of course, this was during COVID lockdown. And
Yeah.
he looks at us on camera and he goes, "I ain't doing nothing else."
Yeah. Marty's so down to earth. We're going to be doing some great things with Marty in the future. And
He
with
is
Mr.
a gem.
Yeah, and with Mr. X, the gentleman we had on, for those 9 days, marketing relationships. If you missed that, we're going to put it up for replay again during the Christmas holidays,
Yep.
starting right before Christmas and in between that and New Year's. So while you're sitting around figuring out what you're going to do with them red and green striped socks that somebody gave you, you can listen to that, and watch that because it's great information. But that's how it all began, because she gave me the opportunity to be a co-host on her show. And then as this show here came into reality, it started because of COVID-19. We started giving a stage, and let me just give you the condensed version. Back in March of 2020, we were all on lockdown. Everybody was, afraid to some degree. Some people were scared to death because of all of the horror that we heard. I mean, we thought we're either going to drop dead or run out of toilet paper, And I don't know who the Einstein was that come up with that. Boy, make sure you go get some toilet paper before you come home, woman.
Right.
I mean, it had to
the
be
room with it.
It had to be a guy. I mean, no lady can come up with something that Neanderthalish. I mean, guys, I'm not trying to be hard on you. I'm just saying, hey, sometimes we're hard-headed, and come up with some dumb things. I mean, at least I do. But Bill Heinrich and several other of the executive training directors with Don McGrath and I, Bill says, hey, we need to address the pandemic because we know speakers, everybody locked down, people living in fear. We know, let's just put on a show, call it Messages of Inspiration, Hope, and Support.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately we all, wow, that's a great idea. And Don McGrath,
crazy.
Yeah, Don McGrath says I can make a list within 24 hours. We had 60 something speakers signed up. Hey, deal me in. I want to speak.
Right.
And it just went off from there. And then Tamara Hunter, a good friend of ours who has Chemo Buddies for Life, that's a great nonprofit organization that some folks out there may want to get involved with about giving back. And maybe not so much money if you don't have much money or anything like that. We respect that. But you do have time. Find a local charity that you can invest in time and be a blessing to others, because that will, you get paid back tenfold. And so that's how it happened. And then she invited us to meet Aaron Hymas, the president of E360 TV. And this show went from Zoom, Facebook Live. Now we're on E360 TV's network. We broadcast live on all their branded channels, all the way around the world. And Donna and I, we just, I don't remember exactly how it happened, but we just kind of like came together because the show needed both of us.
Right. And
That's
we're very
really
like-minded in the way that we see things and the way that we give back.
Hmm.
It isn't about us. It's
Hmm.
about helping other people.
Yeah.
It's about being a voice
Hmm.
and having a platform
Yeah.
to
You
help
see,
people.
I told you I was your long lost cousin. You don't blame me, but but it's really about that, and it's about giving back. And Donna, you came up with we got some good quotes today, and I'd like for you to share one of those good quotes with the folks because we got some great quotes about
We
giving, ladies and
do.
gentlemen.
And
Oh,
there's a bundle of them, but I think my favorite one is
mm-hmm,
from Mother Teresa. And we
mm-hmm.
all know that she was an absolute angel. And her quote is, "It's not how much we give, but how much we love, but how much love we put into giving."
Ooh, yeah.
Hmm.
And I can see why that, Donna, that's your favorite because that's who you are on the inside. You're wired that way. You really are. And I'm going to start out with Jim Rohn. We got a bunch of good quotes here, and I
Oh,
just want to share these with you. He said, "Only by giving are you able to receive more than you already have."
hmm,
That is a principle. And, you know, we never get into religion or politics here on the show because that would be inappropriate. Uh, and it wouldn't, and like my mother told me, she says, "Son, if you can't say something nice about somebody, don't say anything at all." So I'm not going to say anything bad about our good for nothing politicians in Washington. So anyway, you think about the giving that we have in our hearts. And what Jim Rohn said there, it reminds me of the story of Solomon. And Solomon could have asked for anything. He could have asked for riches, he could ask for all the gold, whatever, but he asked for wisdom. And history books, man made articles, and all that, recordings, the historians of that time and people afterwards talk about the amount of wisdom that Solomon had.
hmm,
But the story goes that not only was he granted wisdom, but the creator says, "Hey, all this gold and silver, it's only limited planet Earth. It has no value in the universe. I'm going to give it to you too. You can have it." And see,
right.
that's the thing. Once you start giving and you have a giving type of heart, you're going to be given more and more so that you can share with a loving type of heart and be able to carry out your mission in life. Your calling in life is to be a blessing to others. It's not
Hmm.
about getting, BMWs or bank accounts or, credit cards or having expensive clothes, name brand clothes, and all that stuff. That's the icing on the cake of life if you like that.
Hmm.
Um, but if that is your God, you have enslaved yourself to poverty.
Right. You most certainly have. You
Hmm.
know, my folks grew up in the Depression,
Hmm.
right? They were Depression babies. And I remember my folks telling me that, Christmas was, if they had a big Christmas, they would get an orange and somebody would darn them a new pair of socks. And of course, they grew up in Montana where it's super, super cold. So,
Hmm.
you could always use a good pair of wool socks. Um, and, they would maybe have some walnuts. I mean, these
Mm.
were these retreats. I mean, because
Hmm. Yeah.
they were poor in church mice, folks. I mean, they were super, super poor. And there just was not the kind of plentiful money to
Hmm.
go around. And back then, they certainly wouldn't put themselves in debt to
Hmm.
buy a Christmas present because they couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
And so, that goes to a Anne Frank quote. No one has ever become poor by giving.
Mm. Isn't that the truth?
I love that because
Yeah.
it's just a simple plate of cookies, a simple plate of whatever it is that you make that you're putting your love into that you give, and that's something that I wish my folks were still alive. I miss them dearly,
Hmm.
um, but even so it's not Christmas, but before my dad died, I decided, it just boom hit me that we needed to do a family dinner. And so I made one of my specialties is when I make sauce for lasagna or spaghetti. And it's an all day project for me to make because I usually make 25, 30 pounds at a time. And I had made this and got everybody together, and we took it over to the home where my folks were. And what a blessing that we were able to do that, because my dad died like 20 some days later. But it was one of my specialty dishes that my dad loved.
That's a taste he will savor forever and forever now because of where he is. And ladies and gentlemen, it just goes to show you that you cannot outgive the master giver.
No.
The more you give, the more you receive. I mean, the the only people who don't really buy into that are people who are greedy, people who are only interested in buttering their own bread, as I like to say.
Right.
People that don't, Donna, not to sound negative, but the truth of it is, ladies and gentlemen, we've had people contact us that want to do business with us, and they are gung ho when we can do things for them, but when you talk about doing things for us, believe it or not, sometimes they appear to be like they're unfamiliar with the English language. I mean, you asked them a question, and I've seen people like that throughout my life, and I never will forget that a gentleman shared this with me. He said, Jim, he says, when he knew I landed a big account, and he says, now, Jim, he says, people are going to come out of the woodwork to find you. And this is internet day, for the World Wide Web, before we even heard of www, I don't know why they say www. Everybody's got that, or, just say your website.com. But my phone started ringing. People that I have never heard of in my life, trying to sweet talk me into buying this or investing in that.
Right.
And I'm going like, well, I don't invest in or buy anything. Well, number one, I don't buy anything I don't need. Okay. Number two, I don't invest in anything that I know nothing about.
Right.
I mean, the only two things I know about an oil well is that number one, it's a hole in the ground. Number two, oil is supposed to come out of it. But also know, like in gold mines, there's been more gold mined inside the minds of men than ever came out of a hole anywhere on planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So, but my point being was that people can smell money and people can smell success. And be sure when you start getting successful, and a lot of you folks out there watching the show are successful, be sure that you associate yourself with marketing partners.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is that, like in Donna's case, let me put Donna up here and put her website up there. I want to use Donna as an example, if I may. Here she is. She's the TV. There he is. DonnaGuinois.com. Donna is a very professional counselor and coach, and she talks about high energy, how to release stress and all that. But Donna has marketing partners. She has the credibility and the integrity that if she knows she doesn't have the good connection with you, she has the integrity to say, let me refer you to a friend of mine that I think is a better fit for you. And that's part of what a marketing partner is. You look for ways to bless others because it's going to come back to you.
Right.
And since we got her on the hot seat there, I would like to say that, if you contact Donna at her website there, or her email address is real simple. That's highenergyrightnow@gmail.com. Donna will give you a free 30-minute, session to help you alleviate stress, anxiety, whatever's going on. And because she's all about energy, and her background and where she comes from, she's got skin in the game. Everything she put together there came from hard work, sweat equity, because she was the, I don't want to say the guinea pig, but she was the person. I was going to
say I was the guinea pig.
Yeah. Yeah. See how we think, I'll tell you we're related, she don't believe me, but yeah, she got the good looks and the brains, and I got the, I got the dynamic personality. But really, I mean, if you're dealing with stress, if you're dealing with anything that's bothering, give Donna a call, get in touch with her, and just see if what she shares with you is a blessing to you. And if she'll know whether or not she can bless you, and if not, she will gladly refer you to another trusted source of a person that can or may be able to help you.
Right.
And that's what you want to do. You want to establish a marketing relationship with good people who are like minded, who can bless others, and don't worry about the money.
Right.
The money will come.
Yep. The money
It
is
sure will.
secondary. The money
Yeah.
is secondary. You
Yes.
know, I it kind of leads me into this because this is a quote by Winston Churchill that I think is
Ooh, I like this
huge.
one.
We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. Right?
That's right. Because one of the things that everybody, sees these ads of these people, flying in airplanes or at the airport or getting in this nice, two-seater convertible, they always talk about a lifestyle.
Right.
And they don't talk about making a living or surviving. They talk about a lifestyle. And you can create that lifestyle for you that's perfect for you just by having a giving and caring heart. Think about that.
Hmm.
No one can stop you. And no thief can ever break in on you and rob it from you.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, it's because it's so precious.
Right.
Yeah.
In giving, this holiday season does not have to be expensive because I know there are tons of folks out there who are still struggling. We read it all the time where everybody who is renting, the rent has been just skyrocketed, in increase. I just read yesterday that one of the cities here in Phoenix, quite close to me, a studio apartment is starting out at $1,400 a month. A studio apartment, folks.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
So,
insane.
yeah, it is. And so I know that there's a lot of people struggling and they're going to be really concerned about being able to, gift things. One of the things that I think is absolutely precious is, especially if money's really tight, get together with your kids and see what you can make for the other child, something that they want. One of the things I always did with my kids, and I don't know if it's still done, Google is a fabulous tool and YouTube, you can look up everything, but you can give a coupon book that you can help your child make. And that coupon book, you can give it to somebody else, for one day, I'll do your chores. Exchange those kind of gifts in that coupon book. On Friday night, on my movie night, you get to pick the movie. That, I'll make your bed for you. I'll just, those kind of gifts. That's so easy and simple. And yet, I promise you, just like at my house, it will be used.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's really amazing. You talked about that coupon book. I was thinking about coupon book. Okay. And then when you said it, we got into explaining, I'm going, oh, yeah, that's going to be big time because, one of the things that I saw and experienced growing up, I grew up on a farm in North Carolina. I was a kid in the 50s and an overly intelligent teenager in the 60s, but I saw neighbor helping neighbor. And it wasn't necessarily a barter system, but yet it was just the way things were done.
Right.
And neighbor helping neighbor, and that was a good mindset because it wasn't like I'm going to go over and do a day labor for you. You're going to do a day labor for me. This neighbor needs help. We go help them.
Right.
Someone else needs help. We help them. When we need help, they help us.
Yep. Just real simple.
Yeah. And yeah, because
it wasn't complicated.
No. And once you try to measure things like I'm going to work there one day, you work one day for me, yada, da, da, da. That's when you limit yourself because you're trying to put everything in a box. And the love and abundance of the universe, which is what makes the universe, what makes this world go round, I'll tell you right now, you can't put that in a box.
Right.
But sometimes we try, don't we?
We do. We do. And giving, to our neighbors. I know we talked a little bit about this yesterday, Jim. We talked about our elderly and, our family or friends who are in an assisted living home or, or elderly care home. Oftentimes they get super, super lonely. And one of the things
I think we have an internet connection there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure, but we'll have Donna check that, and we're just going to go on. I'm going to go on with another quote, if I may. Sometimes, the internet and everything works great until it doesn't. And Henry Ford had a great quote, and I want to share this with you. To do more for the world than the world does for you, that is success. And all of these sayings and things, they go perfectly hand in hand with other things that you have heard. And they go perfectly hand in hand with everything that you know deep down inside that is true. And Donna had a connection problem there. She's going to come back, and we're going to miss her while she's gone because she's a precious, precious friend of ours. And we think dearly of her here. Not only, me as a as a long lost cousin, but also as a friend and here at the station. Zig Ziglar said this. He says, "Be helpful when you see a person without a smile. Give them yours." And that's one of the things that we don't see much anymore. People smiling. You see a lot of people when you go to stores or when you're out in public. You look at people's faces, and they just kind of look like they're stressed. They kind of look like they're just going through the motions of living. And that is so unnecessary because what's going on, let me see here. I think she just messaged me. Let me see what she has to say. Got booted. We'll try logging back in. No? I hope she realized that, when she comes back in, that, getting booted, I've had that happen to me a couple of times, and that it's really, it's not fun, that's for sure. Ben Carson, he said, happiness doesn't result from what we get, but from what we give. Consistently, excuse me, I need some more coffee. Thank you for bearing with me for my throat here. But consistently, whenever you hear the truth, deep down inside, that is true. That's the beauty in truth. And truth is always so much more stranger than fiction can ever be. You never have to remember anything if you're always telling the truth. But the thing that we want to share with you about the spirit of giving is that look for ways to give. Maybe the mail person that comes and delivers your mail, the delivery guys that bring packages to your home or your business. How about the fire department that's always on there? Somebody from the fire department sacrifices weekends and nights and holidays just in case you need them in your hour of need. They're there. How about going down and just thank them for caring? Thank them for being there. Take them some goodies, little things like that, and get your kids involved in that. Train their little brains how important it is to give, because giving is the foundation of all life. It really is. Because we were not born in this world to be takers. There's some people that think that's their mission in life. And those that practice that, ladies and gentlemen, they enslave themselves. And most importantly, they cheat themselves out of the true riches of life. They really do. because I'm always been amazed at how opportunity comes to me. I'm always amazed at how I just put some quarters in the machine, hadn't put enough. There's Donna. I'm always amazed at how whenever, you know, things come together to me and things come to me, and I'm going like, wow, the things that happen like that. I'll be honest with you, I'm not smart enough to plan those and think them out and make it and turn that into a reality. So if I can play the dumb part and have dumb luck, I can live with that. Welcome back, Donna. How you doing?
Oh, I'm wonderful. Love little glitches in our internet systems across the
Oh yeah.
country, the
Oh yeah.
world.
hmm Oh yeah. I understand. We were just talking about Ben Carson, how he says happiness doesn't result from what we get, but from what we give.
Right?
And Muhammad Ali said this one here. He says, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Ooh,
Oh, that was a good one.
yes, it was. Yes, it was. And all these sayings, they are consistent with what we know deep down inside is true. And we know that this is where we should be. It may not be a big booming voice saying that, but we know deep down inside that's where we should be.
Right.
And Donna, I've always admired your philosophy in life, the way your outlook on life, and the way you like to help others and everything. And I also appreciate Donna's courage because sometimes when she's had enough, she just says, "Enough's enough. Stop it." Because if you're not spreading good cheer and goodwill, hush,
Right.
behave, sit down.
Yep.
I like it.
It's funny because that's part of the holiday season that we get so stressed, right? We get all that negativity around us. And one of the things I learned, honestly, I really came into play after my first brain surgery when I was 49. And that was, I need to be surrounded by people who are in a good space, who have proper integrity, who don't let every negative thing in the world bog them down, because it shows up. And I've said it before, and I'll say it till the day I die. It will show up before you walk through that door. And so when the holiday's coming, this is kind of what we're talking about here, folks, is understanding that you can make life easier for yourself by doing a little planning, by understanding it doesn't have to be stressful. We let it get stressful. In yesterday's show, Jim, do you recall I shared that there's been years past that I probably had 300 cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much, probably 4 pounds of fudge, every kind of anything you can imagine.
Oh, you're going to get my mouth watering now because I'm sitting here I'm getting some more coffee, but I could flat use some of those cookies and some of that fudge. Looks like her screen her internet's goofed up again. Don't know what's going on there. Okay. Anyway, I'd like to share a little bit about our charity. You see there on the marquee, the little ticker tape, the Shelter a Soldier. This is a wonderful organization because it fits it fits who we are, the Shelter a Soldier. Because Donna and I both love dogs. We both love to see dogs saved from being put to sleep at the shelter. I think a lot of people can say amen to that. And these are normally the bigger dogs that are not high candidates to be adopted. And they train these dogs, and these dogs become service dogs. And their specialty is recognizing PTSD and working with soldiers that have TBIs, traumatic brain injuries. And the Shelter to Soldier provides a safe haven there where the soldiers come in and not one dime is out of their pocket. They take the soldier in and they get to know the soldier and they know the dogs and they pick $4 or $5 for the soldier and for the dogs to meet. And I really believe that the dogs know, hey, I can help this person.
Yep.
And I believe dogs also know that, hey, this other dog is more, in tune with this, their personalities, complement each other. I believe that. I really do, because dogs are very intuitive. And we could take a lot of lessons from dogs. I mean, just think about what I said earlier about Donna. If you contact her and if she can help you, she will. And if she knows she does not have that, connection with you and she can't help you, she would be more than happy to refer you to someone else. And I'm not going to say anything funny because Donna's trying to enjoy her coffee, but dogs have an unconditional heart of love, and we could all take a lesson from them.
Absolutely.
Because that unconditional love, it covers a multitude of our shortcomings, our faults, and let's be honest, guys, our stupid things we do. We have. I think sometimes we might have a patent on that. It's it comes to us naturally, ladies. We don't even have to work hard at it or study on it.
I'm
That's
not
true.
going to say a word. I'm just going to sit here and smile.
Yeah. That's a sign of intelligence right there. I tell you, I get a kick out of it. But really, when it comes to dogs, we're hoping the reason why we share this so much is because we're hoping we can inspire you to maybe start a group of giving. A service dog. Finding a way for dogs to be of service to the elderly, to the homeless who are very lonely.
Or just give your time to a shelter.
Yes. Good point. Yeah. And, there's so many ways because, goodness, looking for ways to serve others, that's your calling in life. And that's going to open doors for you that, you're going to be amazed. You really will. And it may not necessarily reward you financially, but you would definitely have all your needs met.
Oh, absolutely.
And for you folks out there, it's the 20th of the month and you're out of money, but you're not out of days in the month. You're probably saying, meet all my needs. You're probably saying, tell me more. Learn how to give. That's the starting point.
And giving is just time.
Yes.
And
That's right.
that is a commodity that, like our neighbors who may be elderly. I have a widow neighbor. I've known her just about my entire life, next door to me. And she lost her husband a couple of years ago to cancer. And as we get ready to, a couple times a year, we got to clean the alley behind our fence because of the weeds grow up after the monsoons and whatnot. We just go back there and clean up her alley and spray it for her. So she didn't have to ever worry about it. We don't say a word. We just do it. We just do it.
Yeah. When it's the right thing to do, you just do the right thing,
Exactly. And you can never be wrong doing the right thing.
There you go. And I love this quote here by Anne Frank. Did you see that one, Donna? Oh.
That's a beauty.
No one has ever become poor by giving. If you want to be poor, hang on to everything you got like a miser. Be tighter than bark on a tree when it comes to your time and your money, and you will be rewarded accordingly. Yeah, just the way. If you want to be rich, you learn how to give of yourself and your time. And you may not have much money to give, and that's okay. That's quite all right. And Donna's over there clicking with her clicker, playing with her mic. But anyway, that's where that little clicking noise came from. But when you do that, you're going to be immensely rich on all fronts. You really will. Not to mention the peace of mind. Donna, how did it make you feel when you go over there and do that alley for that neighbor lady there?
I just love it because, she just never, ever has to worry about it.
Yeah.
Just, it's just doing what I was brought up to do. I was brought up in that time where neighbor helps neighbor, like you talked about before. That kind of leads me into this quote by Henry Ford. And I don't know if you said it when I got booted out of the internet, but to do more for the world than the world does for you, that is success.
Oh, yeah.
That is true success right there.
And, Kahil, is that Gibran? Gibran? I probably mispronounced that. But Cahill said, there are those who give with joy, and that joy is their reward. And that's so true because I was thinking this morning before we did the show, I had a teacher in the fourth grade. Her name was Jewel Blanton. And I know Mrs. Blanton is, long gone. But the thing that I remember about her, she was one of the sweetest ladies that I knew growing up. I never saw her without a smile. She'd look at you and light up in a big smile.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to remember, I'm not one of her star pupils. So, when you're a kid in school and you're struggling, and your teacher looks at you and smiles, you go like, that's okay. Because most of them looked at me like an eagle looking at a mouse on the field or something, because I was never real high on their smiling list, you might say. I brought out the frowns in them. But anyway, but Mrs. Jewel Blanton, she always had a smile on her face. And I remember I had pneumonia that year, and I was out of school, and she came, because she lived right down the road from us. I'm talking about, maybe a half a mile. And she came by to see me, and she talked to me and, drop off what I needed, to study when I felt like it. And she said, study if you feel like it. If not, it's okay. And she made sure that I did not get behind. And the compassion that she had for me
Mm-hmm.
was just, I never have forgotten it.
Right.
And I went from the penthouse to the outhouse from the fourth grade to the fifth grade, because my teacher there, Mrs. Watley, her and my dad worked on, her husband and my dad worked on the same line crew at the power company. And every little thing that I did, she had these little red, flat, half specks. She'd look over at me, she said, I'm going to tell Hugh about this tonight. The lady never lied me.
She always did, and your dad heard about it real quick.
Yeah. And the weird thing that I never really understood, I found out later when, one person says something and it passed on to another person gets all distorted. I experienced that because she would tell Hugh would tell my dad, and by the time I got home, heard my dad's version, it didn't happen that way,
But
I
you
was
got in trouble for it all the same.
Oh, I was in T-rubble over that. I mean, I was so inspired to pass the fifth grade because I got more whippings in that grade and in that year than I had take any 3 years of my life and put them together. I mean, that fifth grade was a pinnacle in whippings. I tell you, I probably still got a couple of stripes on my backside from that fifth grade if I dropped my pants and look in the mirror. But I don't do things like it. It's not, that's another story, another time, different audience.
It's a different show altogether, Jim.
Yeah, do not visualize that, please. But really, I mean, oh yeah, I mean, that fifth grade was a nightmare. But fourth grade with Jewel Blanton, she was just they named her right. Her parents did when they called her Jewel. She was a beautiful, beautiful lady. And to think that one day, in the future, somewhere down the road, our paths will cross again, and I'll get a chance to thank her as an intelligent adult, rather than the dumb kid, that she helped in, 2 and 2 sports, not 5. Okay. Slow in between the ears and twice as fast. Oh, goodness.
So, giving, when you think outside of the box, especially this year, because like we said, there's so many people struggling with the cost of living right now. And I know it's a worry every parent has with their child. They want to be able to provide them. But remember, the best way, at least in my opinion, and I've been there as a single mom, folks, the best way you can provide for your children is plan now, buy within that budget, so that you're not stressing yourself after Christmas to try and pay for all of Christmas and then all of the bills, your normal bills that you have.
Yeah. That's not you have not lived the spirit of giving and the spirit of Christmas and the spirit of the holiday season. Because it's not about things. It really isn't. We think it is. And that's the way we've been brought up, the more gifts you had, the better Christmas you got. And that's not true. If
Mhm.
you got your health, you got your happiness, you got people that love you.
Got your family.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's tremendous right there. Because I know some very well-to-do people, shall I say, and they don't demonstrate that they're loved. They don't demonstrate that have a giving and caring heart.
Mhm.
But what they do demonstrate is how miserable they are. And Donna, we've often heard about people that win the lottery and how miserable their lives is afterwards. And a lot of them said, I wish I'd never won the lottery.
Right.
And the thing in our minds is this: we are convinced that if we won $40 million in the lottery, we'd show them an exception. But the truth of it is, we would fall into that same trap because we're coming from a heart of need and want and greed, not a heart of giving. Because what we really earn in life, we've earned by giving,
Mhm.
not by being dumb luck or things of this nature.
Not by
I,
being selfish.
yes, and I use the lottery as an example because a lot of people have wasted a lot of money buying a false hope. Because that's what it is. It's a false hope. And it's a temporary hope at best. Maybe this Saturday night I'll win the jackpot. And I never play the lottery. But Donna, you go to convenience stores and you see people standing in line to getting the lottery tickets. And just by the way they appear to be, it looks like those people would be better off saving that money. But they're trying to buy, they're buying a false hope. And if they gave that money to someone else rather than waste it on the lottery, and I'm not knocking lotteries, I'm just saying that a lot of times people get addicted to that. It becomes a lifestyle,
Mhm.
and in doing so, when you live in a false hope, you're living in a false world, and a false world can never be reality. It can never bring happiness, joy, or jubilee. And Donna, I don't know how I got off on that subject, but I felt like maybe someone out there needed to hear it. I don't know. It just popped in my head.
Hopefully, I'll stay on here.
Well, I hope so too. I hope so too, lady.
Looks like my internet's trying to be silly again.
Is it?
A little
Oh,
bit.
okay.
But really, planning for the holidays is everything. If you plan your meals out and you start buying stuff when it's on sale, that's
Mm-hmm.
going to help you. That's going to stretch your
Yeah.
money, make it go
Mm-hmm.
further. When you have people come over, have everybody bring a dish. And if you're
Oh, yeah.
hosting it, absolutely say, ask them, what dish do you want to bring? And then have them bring that dish or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
along with the other one. So you don't have multiples of everything. And it
Mm-hmm.
makes the stress so much easier, folks. And it's planning and it makes it simple for you. And
Mm-hmm.
then don't have so much work to do, and you
Mm-hmm.
can sit there and enjoy the holiday along with everybody else.
Oh, yeah. And Donna, you made a great comment yesterday that if you know someone that's alone during the holidays,
Mhm.
invite them, but have them bring something. And even though, they may not, just say, hey, would you bring some paper plates and some napkins?
Right,
Because that'll really come in handy because no one wants to wash dishes. And see,
right,
that's something they can just pick up and bring. And, they brought something to the party.
right.
You gave them the opportunity to participate. That was great. I loved when you said that yesterday, Donna. I didn't even think about that, but I loved it when you said it.
Well, you have to think about when you're asking somebody. I read a story once, Jim,
Hmm.
and it was so profound. The neighbors, this family, the neighbors were always asking to borrow something, a cup of sugar,
Oh
some
yeah.
flour, some milk, going on and on. And one day, the mom of the family that was always, giving other stuff to the neighbor, asked to borrow a half a cup of salt from that neighbor. And the little kid said to Mom, Mom, why'd you ask for a half a cup of salt when we have salt? She said, well, sweetheart, because I know that they don't have a lot, and so they don't have a lot to give. But by asking them for something very simple and inexpensive, that they don't feel bad about asking me in the future. Because we have so much more to be blessed with that we can bless them with. But this way, they feel like they've given something of value to me that I didn't have.
I like that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we sure did. And The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale on YouTube, that's another thing that you could plug into and listen to, and it will really bless you. It'll open your mind, because a lot of people are living in fear right now, and you don't have to. You can just let it go.
Absolutely.
Because all the things that worry us, fear, worry, greed, all the physical things that drag us down, it's limited to planet Earth.
Yep.
Let the world enjoy itself. If it wants to live in misery, Salahila, Holapala, and, get out of my life, But I mean, let them go. Love them and let them go. Live in love and abundance. And that is a great tool there to be able to. It's about 32 minutes long. You can listen to it, and it really bless you. Also, if you're worried about your health, please go to the academyofwellness.com. Dr. George Grant, fill out his information there. He will be more than glad to, if you mention the show, give you an AO scan, which is a very detailed 3D MRI of your body, your health, your everything. And you will have the blessed assurance that you know that you know that you know what your health condition is. And even if it's not good, he can help you, because he's helped. That classic story of that 79-year-old man who had
lived to be 101 plus.
Had a bad heart and had all these 20 something plus medications, and sent home on hospice. Gets in touch with Dr. George Grant, and well, you did everything wrong, but let's see what we can do right. Sent home at hospice at age 79, turned 101, and the man is still living. So,
right.
Check it out, ladies and gentlemen, because our time is about gone, ain't it, Donna?
It is, Jim. It is. We are at the end of the show, but we want to thank each and every one of you who tune in wherever you are around the world, whatever platform it is you're watching us on. We appreciate you, and understand that, we are here to hope that we bless one person, and that is our mission. That is our mission. Yes, so ma'am. Whether it's day or night, we hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, and be safe. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.
Bye-bye.